What is going on, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius players? This is going to be, obviously, the Support Breaker Resummon Banner. This is actually going to be probably the best out of all of the banners. It's going to have the characters with the longest longevity. I know, double long there. Because supports and breakers especially are fulfilling the most important roles when building a team. So if you're a new player, if you're just trying to build a team for the first time as well, maybe you've been playing for a couple months, these are the characters that are going to solidify you being able to beat some of the harder content in the game. And for 6,000 Lapis, I know there's a lot of stuff going on. The guaranteed 11 rainbow banners coming up. We have Madame Adele for a very fantastic damage dealer. Very easy to gear, very easy to use, keeps you safe during the ends of the fights when those are the hardest parts of those battles, guys. So we're going to be going over the Support and Breaker Banner. We're going over the super TMRs that are worth picking up too for veterans on here, as well as what characters you should be aiming for going in here, guys. So you guys, once again, let me know what characters you are going for, what characters you are pulling for, what characters you're missing from your teams down below with a comment. It helps out the algorithm, helps out everyone get to know each other in the community. I like seeing those bonds form, and then obviously come and hang out in the Discord as well. If you're a new player, if you're a veteran, if you're looking for people to hang out with, talk about FFBE, share your friends' codes, get characters and units set up for you so you can do the trial fights, make those a lot easier if you have like the right friends set up for you. There's lots of people in there always changing out that information. So thank you guys for the support there. And then once again, if you want to further support the channel, you guys are fantastic people out there becoming patron supporters as well as YouTube channel members. Go ahead, links in the description for that as well. So let's get into it here. Support Breaker 6,000 Lapis, pretty cheap here for the 10+1 Resummon Banner. If you haven't done these before, 6k Lapis, it's going to come down. One of these characters, one of these units is going to be guaranteed to you. And then you're also going to get a 50% Super Trust Mastery Moogle for the corresponding character. You're also going to be able to re-roll that pull 4 more times. So you get the initial one and up to 4 more. If you don't like those results, you can get other 5-star characters, 5% rainbow rate. Let's get into the drop rate here. Let's see what it's all about. So drop rate, moving on in here, and then we'll talk about the characters that you can get on this banner. So first of all, we're going to go through, they put kindly the worst of the bunch on the banner here at the start here. So Emperor Shara as a character, not really worth talking about, really dated at this point. Not really all worthwhile as a unit, but his super TMR is a fantastic, in my opinion, probably the best single tanking accessory in the entire game. Emperor's Ring, which is 40% HP, 30 flat defense, 30 flat spirit, as well as giving you 50% fire resistance, and then 30% spirit if you have a light shield equipped, and 30% defense if you have a heavy shield equipped there. It's so strong. Once you get that ring, you throw it on your tank, you're gonna feel so invincible. It's you, and you're never gonna take it off. Once I got it, I never took it off there. So that's Emperor Shara. Elephim is in here. Her super TMR, Elephim's Robe. Very nice body piece. Just a big stat stick. HP plus 20%. High spirit. And I think a little bit of defense as well in the body slot. Throw that on your healer. It also has the ability to reduce the MP cost of songs, but that's really not that useful. Elephim as a character right now still hasn't got enhancements, but she will be pretty powerful as a buffer for you. She'll be able to do 2 pretty important things for your party, which is going to be able to do attack defense, magic, and spirit breaks, as well as attack defense, magic, and spirit buffs. She's not going to have damage mitigation for your party, but she's going to have the breaks and the buffs. And out of all of the aspects of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, the reason why this banner is so important, especially for new players, is the 2 most important things when surviving trial damage is, first of all, your breaks, and second of all, your mitigation. So you have your attack and magic breaks to lower the enemy stats and enable you to survive way more stuff than you could before, and then defense and spirit breaks to do additional damage there. Super powerful. Then you have general mitigation, physical mitigation, and magic mitigation that your supports can do, which is going to just cut that damage you take by a certain percentage. And then thirdly, the most important thing is your defense, spirit, attack, and magic buffs. Most DPS, the newer ones, have their own attack and magic buffs. Some of them don't. And so notably, a lot of the times your supports are doing defense and spirit buffs for your team there. So with that in mind, Seaside Nicole here. He's in here. He's kind of okay. He's not really super crazy, amazing powerful as a support, so he's one of the older characters. You can use him, but you're not gonna be like doing super crazy stuff with him. He does have some nice mitigations. He does have some buffs as well, but there's a lot of characters that can kind of do what he does, so he's kind of like a dime a dozen sort of character. You can get some use out of him. His super TMR and TMR aren't particularly amazing either. I do believe his super TMR is very similar to Elephim's, where it has some HP on it. It might have some limit burst gauge fill rate or something, I do believe, on it as well. That's the other thing Elephim's dress has, is 50% high tide on it too. So Seaside Nicole, super TMR, nothing super crazy, just like Elephim. If you get it, you'll use it. But other than that, not that big of a deal. Summerfolk and Citra, she's sort of a buffer character, really hasn't lasted very long. Is a summoner character on the side there. She does have some very nice stat buffs. She has the ability to make your team immune to certain aspects, such as elemental resistances for a couple of the things, as well as status ailment immunities there. Her super TMR is the Cool Beauty, which gives you a bunch of HP and MP, as well as 60%, I think, is water, dark, and ice resistance as well. So nothing super crazy. If you use it, if you have it, you'll use it on certain fights for sure, because it's a bunch of HP and elemental resistances, but nothing that you're really aiming for at all on this banner. Noctis is super old. Don't know why he's a support. I feel like everyone in the world is supporting Noctis at this point, because this is not CG Noctis. This is the old Noctis. His super TMR is pretty good though. Hexatheon's Revelation, 20% attack, defense, magic, spirit, HP, MP, and then 20% elemental resistance to everything but light and dark. So, it also has 2 limit burst gauge crystal fill per turn. I have it. I use it all the time. Get some bonus stats, get some elemental resistances, and then I use it primarily for the 2 limit gauge crystal per turn to fire off a bunch of very powerful limit bursts as often as powerful. Ramza is here as well. The Reverie Shield, pretty decent tanking shield. As a character, not really worth talking about, sadly. Reverie Shield, though, it's got some defense and spirit on it. It's a light shield and has 20% resist all elemental damage on it, as well as I think it's 15% HP. I don't think it has MP on it. I think it's 15% HP. Marie, not worth going for at this time. Very old unit, elemental resistances. You can get those everywhere nowadays for the most part. Her super TMR original arrival is 30% resistance to every element in the game, and it also gives you 50% spirit if you're equipped with a staff. So nothing to chase for. It's another one of those elemental resistance things. Uraisha here hasn't really aged too well. I've never really personally liked Uraisha all that much. She works very similar to Maritime Strategist Nicole and Seaside Nicole. She's got your traditional support stuff. She's got some damage mitigation, some attack defense, magic and spirit buffs, stuff like that. Her super TMR is a Uraisha's Hairpin. It does have a lot of spirit on it. It's like 94 spirit, and it also has 20% HP. So just another one of those stat stick super TMRs. Nothing worth targeting here. Zargabath, old school support. I know a lot of people still use him. Big buffs. He does have the Berserker crest, which is hilariously bugged right now in the game. In my opinion, it definitely doesn't work the way it used to. And if there was a bugs video I made, it'd definitely be in there, because it does some really wonky stuff. His super TMR, though, is very, very strong. It's 30% HP, 30% defense, and 30% spirit, and then 20% all elemental resistances. This is another one of those super TMRs where if you get it, you're going to be using it all the time. Even if it didn't have the elemental resistance on it, you're going to be putting it on somebody, because it has way too many stats between HP, defense, and spirit all in one materia slot. And then it's got those 20% resistances to all elements. So you're going to find a use for it if you have it. I know some people might be, taking this as like their second or third target if they're pulling on this banner. Very, very strong super TMR to have in your collection. Rivera is a character that can do some really unique things. You'll see people using like Rivera and a dodge character to AoE dodge. Rivera, though, a lot of the times I don't really like Rivera. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of the times, if there's something that you can do with Rivera in your party, you can do it just as well without Rivera in your party, because the kit that she has for support doesn't really have like the all-encompassing supportive kit, right? She's got some unique things she can do. She's got attack and magic buffs, but like we said earlier, a lot of the damage dealers we have now bring their own attack and magic buffs. They're even stronger than hers. She's got 1 turn of Imbue and Imperil. She's got some killer buffs, which are pretty neat, but outside of that, she doesn't have, she doesn't have the defense and spirit buff. She doesn't have any breaks, anything of that nature. She has some Mirage, which is pretty cool, but she's got like this hodgepodge kit that doesn't really have all of the stuff that you kind of want to have access to when going into a trial, which you're going to need to if you're going to be using her. You know, you're going to be bringing her in some other character to fulfill the same role that you could do with 2 other characters. So a lot of people use her, a lot of people have fun with her. I wouldn't suggest new players to go for her at all whatsoever. Now we have King Edgar of Figueroa. This is going to be breaking us into the better character tier list here. So King Edgar of Figueroa, big daddy breaker here. 84% attack, defense, magic, and spirit breaks on his limit burst for 1 turn up to 2 turns if you have him in critical HP. And he does have some other nuances, right? He's got some imperils for your party. He's got, I believe, like machine killer buff as well that he can do. On top of that, very easy to build, and the potency of having like a high break, like 70%, 75%, 80% breaks, and he's got 84, is very, very powerful, and it's going to give you a lot of damage mitigation going into certain fights. A lot of people use him, a lot of people love him, and rightfully so, and he could be someone that you could pull as a new player and use for quite a while. I wouldn't say that he'd be your #1 on the banner, but he'd definitely be tied for #1, all right? He's not going to be exclusively the #1 unit you're going for as a new player, but he's going to be he's definitely going to be up there for sure. So not the definitive one, but he's going to be one of the ones. Heavenly Technician Lid is an older unit for sure. She's kind of like King Edgar, but worse, where King Edgar has some other things that he can do with his kit, where Heavenly Technician Lid is pretty much just like she wants to just break. Attack, defense, magic, and spirit break. She's got 70% on a cooldown skill, 79% on her limit burst. She doesn't really have a whole lot of other stuff to do. So, you know, if you get her, and she's your only breaker that could do 70% plus, you'll be using her, especially for a lot of content, but you're going to try to aim for somebody else. Never Ending Hope, don't really like him, not my favorite character here. For breaks, he's on the lower end. You know, if you're looking for a breaker, you want 70% plus, he doesn't have that. He's got some other nuances in his kit as well, where he's got some defense and spirit buffs. He does do a couple of the things, but he just doesn't do all of them as well as any other unit does. He is pretty good at as a 6-star though. So if you do end up with one of him randomly as a new player, you will get some use out of him if you don't have any other support characters, because he does have a lot of really good skills that you can use as a 6-star character. So keep that in mind there as well. Adventurer Locke is very similar to King Edgar of Figueroa, has those big attack, defense, magic, and spirit breaks. He can do some damage for you as well if you want to transition him into a damage dealer later on, but he's primarily going to be there for your big damage dealing or your big breaks is what he's going to be there primarily for. So he's very strong as well. So if you get him as well, getting in there 7-star characters, big breaks, you're going to be using him. And now we get into the real winners on the banner, in my opinion. So we have Sylvie. Sylvie, you know, showing her age a little bit, but she's still the jack of all trades, master of all of them temporarily, is what I like to call Sylvie. So she does a lot of different things. She got elemental resistance buff. She got not general mitigation, but physical mitigation, magic mitigation. She's got the ability to do really strong 170% attack, defense, magic, and spirit buffs to your team, 200% attack and magic, and 200% defense and spirit buffs to a single person on your team. She's got access to 70% breaks, but temporarily with cooldown skills. She can make your team immune to all status ailments outside of charm while removing all status ailments outside of charm. She's got the ability to make your team immune to attack, defense, magic, and spirit break while removing attack, defense, magic, and spirit break. She's got the ability to imbue your units with 3 different elements. She's got the ability to allow 2 units in your team to chain together. So if you want to use a chain finish or team comp, she's got your back there. So she's got a lot of cool stuff there as well. She also has some nice MP regeneration for your party, up to 350, I do believe, for a single target for 0 MP of her own cost. Her own limit burst is really insane as well. Big HP barrier, 70-something% all elemental resistances. She's got 100% earth, light, and thunder resist as well. So very strong, powerful kit. She does have very powerful and potent things to do when her, sort of jack of all trades, master of all temporary things run out. I know a lot of people use her. I do still to this day, to open up with very strong breaks and buffs all at the same turn on turn 1 with her dual cast skill, and then kind of transition her into doing another job. A lot of people use her as a support tank with 100% dodge and 100% draw attacks, and she still becomes very tanky with some good gear later on. You can make her absolutely insane with crazy gear. You can have her 100% dodge, 100% provoke, 20,000 HP and 800 spirit if you have like a bunch of the crazy gear out there. So We're talking stuff like, the dagger. I skipped over it. Adventure Lock Super Teamer, the 30% physical evasion, 20% magic evasion dagger. Very, very strong there. Never Ending Hopes Super Teamer, I won't lie. Not really worth talking about in my opinion. I kind of skipped over King Edgar Figueroa Super Teamer. I kind of skipped over everyone but Rivera. So Rivera Super Teamer, let's hit this real quick. Body piece, reduced MP consumption, has some spirit, a very high spirit as well. And I know a lot of people are actually using that on Shuang Lu Xinglong right now. You don't need it, but it's one of those things that you put on and you're going to be like, oh, my abilities cost, I think it's 30% less MP. Pretty cool there. King Edgar Figueroa. Now, a lot of people like this Super Teamer 55 attack, and it also has the ribbon on it, so you're immune to all status ailments, not including stop and charm. So you put that on your physical damage dealers, make them immune to everything while getting that flat attack. Heavenly Technician Lid Super Teamer is that hammer. I use it. It has 3 limit burst gauge crystals per turn. It's got some HP and defense on it. You can get more HP and defense on it through Item World as well with the rare ability. Never Ending Hope Super Teamer. I don't remember what it does. I want to say it does like elemental resistances and stuff. I have all the other ones memorized except this one for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because Never Ending Hope was Never Ending Nope for me personally. And then we talk about locks. And then Sylvie's is Sylvie's very strong Spring Shield. I want to say it's the Spring Shield. It's got a lot of different elemental resistances on it. 3 of them are 50%, which is probably, it's light, earth, and lightning. 50% resist. It's got some HP and MP on it. It's gotten at like 94 spirit. It's a light shield, so you throw it on a lot of your healers, makes them very tanky on top of that. So very powerful shield. Summer, Fina, and Lid, another one of my personal favorite supports here for a lot of the same reasons as Sylvie. She's like a perfect partner for Sylvie as well, because Sylvie has all those different imbues. Summer, Lid, and Fina can cover the imperils, and then while Sylvie isn't a full-time breaker, Summer, Lid, and Fina can be that full-time breaker for you there too. So she's got access to 70% attack, magic, and spirit break. She's got some nice MP recovery for your party. She's got the ability to do Kiraja heals for your party. She's got 5 different elemental imperils, 75% to 100% for your party. She's got auto revive for your party. So very, very strong character. She's got limit burst gain for your party up to 14 crystals in a single turn. Very strong character. If you watch any of my trial fights, she's in my party like 99% of the time, unless the boss can't be broken because it's a mini boss. She's in there doing work. And in some of the fights I bring her anyway, actually. So very strong character. Maritime Strategist Nicole, moving on. Oh, Summerlin Fina Super Teamer, I'm forgetting. My bad. Is Beach Girls, 50% defense, 50% spirit, and then it's got some elemental resistances. Oh, what are they off the top of my head? I can't remember. I want to say like water, lightning, and fire or something. I can't remember, but it's 3 elemental resistances, very similar to Cool Beauty because they're the CG Summer units, and very strong thing. You'll put it on your characters if you have access to it, but you don't need to really gun for it. Maritime Strategist Nicole is an older support. He's kind of aged. He doesn't really have a lot of other things to do. He does bring that big general mitigation for your party though, and he's got some big stat buffs for your party as well. But outside of that, he's not doing anything super crazy nowadays. He does have some nice ability awakenings. He is still usable. He is still good. There's a lot of the community's moved on from him, but if you get him as your starter character building a new account, I wouldn't feel too bad about using Maritime Strategist Nicole. Now, speaking of Regis in Maritime Strategist Nicole, Regis is like the updated version of Maritime Strategist Nicole. Very, very powerful character, and he's going to be particularly pretty strong in Dark Visions coming up because of his 75% killer buffs that he has access to for demons, humans, reapers, and fairies. I think fairies is the last one. Fairies undead, and fairies are spirits, right? I don't even know. I think fairy is spirit. They have fairy killer, which is spirit slayer, which is fairy killer. It's a confusing process sometimes, but very powerful character here. And just like Summerlin Fina and as well as Sylvie can make other people chain together, so you can fit chaining finishers into your team as well. CG Sid, I keep talking about CG Sid, and other powerful chain finishers are going to fit right into your Dark Visions team. They're going to be very, very powerful if you have access to those. And Regis, Summerlin Fina, and Sylvie are going to be ways to allow those characters just kind of get in there without needing to bring a bunch of different chainers and mix and matching different characters to allow you to build a chain. They're just going to allow you to do it whenever you want to do it. So Regis is very powerful, big buffs, big mitigations, just like Maritime Strategist Nicole, MP regeneration, all the good stuff, and the killers on top of that. Now, speaking of Final Fantasy 15 characters, we have Luna Freya, one of the newer characters in the game. Incredibly powerful. Character's got access to 100% elemental resistance buffs for a couple different elements in the game. She has access to 120% Watcher in Peril with AoE Water Imbue for your party, 40-50% magic damage mitigation, 180% attack range magic and spirit buff, 30% general mitigation, some nice MP regeneration for your party. Aqua Killer's in here as well, and her primary use is for her big imbues and imperils and elemental resistance buffs, and then her giant magic damage mitigation. Now we're going to be kind of moving into fights where all the uncoverable attacks that we're used to. If I just blew up the mic with the uncoverable, I'm sorry, but a lot of those uncoverable attacks right now are like fixed attacks that do magic damage, which, you know, it's not very easy to mitigate against those. Only general mitigation works. We're gonna start big stutters. We're gonna start getting into battles where they're magic type attacks that do magic damage, and she's gonna be able to just shave that damage, just gone. And if you have CG Cecil in your party, between the two of them, your party is just not taking magic damage at all. I don't even care. So a very amazing character there. Now, as far as Regis and Luna Freya super teamers, neither of them are worth talking about. They're not worth going for. If you get them, my apologies, my condolences. So the last one here is Ignace, who is like the other upgraded version of Maritime Strategist Nicole. Does a lot of really cool things with his ability Awakenings at 7-star. Access to Fire, Ice, and Lightning Imbue, Fire, Ice, and Lightning in Peril, 50% general mitigation, LB generation crystals, firing them off left and right and front and center because he's making that, he's cooking. He's in there, he's cooking hard, he's working on those tasty treats for your party there, and he's got MP regeneration. He's got a lot of the big support of kit for your party there, so a lot of people are using them. The most important thing that we talk about here, 50% general mitigation. If you don't have that from your tanks yet, you're going to want it from your supports, and it's going to be a pretty big deal for you. His super teamer is a hybrid dagger, really not all that powerful, but Ignace as a character, definitely worth getting, definitely worth grabbing. So as far as super teamers, first and foremost, we'll talk about super teamers for the veterans, ones that I would, if you're going in on this, these are the only ones I would even suggest you thinking about. Emperor Shares, incredibly powerful, super, super strong. Zargobaths, you're going to be using it all the time. Definitely amazing. Noctis, if you're using anyone with some limit burst generation for a support, or you want another semi-tankies, like second copy sort of Zargobath Super Team to throw around your party, 20% all resist, and then like 10% less defense, 10% less spirit, 10% less HP. It's sort of like a pseudo copy of Zargobath. It doesn't have the holy and dark resist, but it's got the other ones in there as well. King Edgar of Figueroa, for you guys out there who really like status ailment ribbons, that's going to be a knockout plus for you right there. Adventurer Lock for the dodge is definitely worth talking about if you're trying to work on dodge builds for different characters, like, you know, like for Sylvie. And then I think that's primarily it. The other two ones that are kind of cool, they're like the final pieces of the puzzle, are things like Eurisha's Hairpin, Elephant's Dress, and Ram's Shield, but I wouldn't necessarily go for those three. I think the five before that we talked about, those are the ones that you're really looking for as far as super TMRs go. Now, as a newer player, what characters are you trying to aim for to actually use in your party? Which are the best of the best of the best out here? For a breaker, I would suggest either getting Summerlid and Phenom, King Edgar of Figaro. Those are the two top breakers I would say here on this banner. And then thirdly would be Adventurer Lock. I know a lot of people like Adventurer Lock over King Edgar. I kind of like King Edgar better. Adventurer Lock, he does do a lot of cool stuff. He's a little more awkward for me to use. Every time I use him, I don't really like him, but he is extremely powerful. He's just not my flavor of character. He doesn't really like mold well with the parties that I build, but he is very, very strong in that aspect. He also has some supportive chains. I think he's Stardust Ray. So Stardust Ray is a thing for you. That might be something that will bolster his value to you as well. But those are the three big mainstay breakers that I would talk about. As far as buffers go, general mitigation, all of that other good supportive goodness, we have Luna Freya. No one comes close to Luna Freya for the magic damage mitigation. Is insane. She does also have the general mitigation on top of that, but she only has 30%. And then she's got the elemental resistances and the MP regeneration and the ability that as you grow in your account, the ability to do the 120% water in peril as well as the AoE water imbue. might be more of a veteran thing in the long term, but it might be something that you want eventually, especially as you're working on, you know, finding different teammates that have certain elemental weapons equipped, or maybe they have non-elemental weapons. They're going to be able to get that water imbue, water imperil, very powerful. Now for your general supports, Ignace, Regis, those are number 1, number 2, top 2 you should be pulling for. Ignace, Regis, outside of Luna, Freya. And then we cannot talk about supports without talking about Sylvie, the mastermind out here, the jack of all trades, master of them all, but temporarily very, very powerful character that you can gain access to there. She might be getting a rerun with the Easter banner though, so I'm not sure about that. We don't know if there's gonna be an Easter banner. There technically wasn't like an Easter banner time limited thing last year, but she's an egg paladin. She throws eggs, and she got teamed up with a bunny girl who teleports through time and throws lightning around and wears a bunny suit. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be probably back for the Easter event this year. Who knows if they will or not, but they'll be floating around the pool, and they might get enhancements, but I wouldn't ever pull on characters that you think are going to get enhancements. She's good enough right now. So that's what I'll be talking about right now for you guys, for your new players. Regis, Ignace, Luna, Freya, they knew it. They put them down there. Those are the top 3. Buffer supports, Lidfina, Adventurer Locke, King Edgar, Figueroa. Those are your top 3 breakers in my opinion, and then I'm not missing anyone else out here. The other ones that you can still get and not be upset about: Maritime Strategist Nicole, as well as Never Ending Hope as a 6-star if you're brand new. That you won't hate yourself if you have that. Heavenly Technician Lid for a breaker, Zargobath as well. Seaside Nicole's kind of there, but never really been my favorite character there. Someone's gonna be like, but Seaside Nicole's my favorite. How dare you do that to me, Hal? I'm sorry, man. You can have Seaside Nicole as your favorite, but that's gonna be the support summon reroll banner. As a new player, I think for 6k Lapis, the ability to try to target up some of the more powerful supports in the game is definitely a win. If you're starting the game right now, you have Ignace, Luna, Freya, Regis, Summer Lid and Fina, Sylvie, Adventurer Locke, not Heavenly Technician Lid, but King Edgar, Figueroa. That's 7 characters out of, I think it's 20 here, that are Grand Slam knockout amazing characters for you to get and have access to. So if you want any of those, which if you're brand new to the game, you're going to find a great use for those characters. With the 5 different roles you get, the odds of you getting them as a guaranteed at least one of them is absolutely phenomenal, and you probably shouldn't pass this up. And then as far as super TMRs goes, there's some good ones in here, but for veterans, I would tell you guys, you know, probably just not. There's Emperor Shara in here, which is cool. Zargobath, Noctis, and Adventurer Locke. Those are really the only ones that'd be like, yeah, those are really kind of worth going in for. If you want any of the other super TMRs, I'd say it's not worth it. But hey, man, you pull on what you feel like is worth it. That's just my opinion, guys. So keep that in mind. There is the 11 rainbow banner out there. That one's kind of a crapshoot. You could get really good stuff. You could get really lucky, but it's pretty much every rainbow since, I forget what the date is, but it's within like the last year-ish or so. It's up to January something. Let me double check that real quick so I don't give you guys incorrect information. Let's pop over here real quick in case you're wondering about the 11 rainbow and whether or not you should pull on that. Maybe I'll do, oh look, Ability Awakening updates, nice. The 11 rainbow banner, let's check it out. It's going to be up to 2020. So it's the refined pool. It is a refined pool, so it's going to have all the really old units like Orlando and whatnot. They will not be in there, so it's going to help you out. Hopefully, you guys, if you pull on that, you get the newer ones, you get the gooder ones, the better current units. But for newer players, this is just too good. It's too good to try to target something that you're gonna have in your team for a long time. The next character that I'm personally looking for as a support breaker character is literally just Riku from Final Fantasy X-2, and I have no idea what they're gonna do with that banner. In JP, it was like a triple banner, and Riku from X-2's in there, and good luck with that. Good luck for me. Wish me good luck down in the comments, guys, because that's what I'm pulling for. But that's like the next breaker that I'd be going for. If you guys haven't heard of her already on this channel, I don't know how you haven't. There's probably like 55 videos on it. But I'm recording this at 3:30 in the morning. So thank you guys for the nice support out there. Thank you guys once again for supporting me on Patreon, that 99-cent bundle a month or greater if you are on that train of support, as well as becoming channel members. If you want to do that, become the backbone, help the channel out, help the channel grow, help me put the bread on the table, so you know, I don't shrivel away. I'm trying to work out and gain muscle. It's kind of hard if you can't put the bread on the table. But thank you guys so much, man. You guys are amazing. You guys for the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.